welcome to Gaming on a Budget. Today we bring you Vikings Gone Wild from Lucky Duck Games. Now, regular viewers will probably notice the lack of the annoying clunking noise. Unfortunately, my watch broke. So, guess y'all win. No more ridiculous clunking throughout the video, which I thought was adorable, but apparently most people not so much. Anyway, more on the subject. Vikings Gone Wild is a deck building game, and those of you familiar, my wife is holding up the tattered remains of my watch. Familiar with deck building games will, find most of this fairly familiar. But we'll go through the steps the game takes anyway, just to, get you up to speed on the parts that you may not be familiar with, because there are some key differences here. Now, first off, you do the production phase, wherein any buildings that produce, say the gold factory and the brewery, will generate their goods. Then you do the drawing phase, which is where you will actually officially draw up your new hand of 5 cards, or more if you've got taverns. This is important because there's an attack and defense element going on, and being without cards in your hand can be important and relevant to the other players. We'll get more into that in a second. Then you get into phase 3, which is the player phase, where you take turns in turn order, going around playing your cards and such. You'll do this like a standard deck builder. You'll play out your money cards, buy things, do whatever. And if you have any, you can play attack cards. If I can manage to pick one up. Is that too shiny?
Yes. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. You'll see this card comes with an attack of 4. An attack of 4 would let you defeat any building controlled by another player, or any monster, say the ever-present Draco, or an Odin's Path, zombie, undead guy here, that has a value of 4 or less. So, for example, this guy here, which one did I pick up? A Drakkar, has a value of 3. So, your 4 strength Bone Crusher would defeat this and gain attack rewards, plus, in this case, a bonus of an extra point. You can tell from that symbol there. Now, for example, if the other player happened to have a card in their hand, like this cannon here, they could add 2 to the defensive value of their Drakkar. Now, that would raise it to 5, and 4 being less than 5, the attack would fail, and the defender would get bonuses and such. The way attacking works is that the attacker plays whatever attacking cards they are going to attack that structure, and then the defender plays. The attacker will not have a chance to add more to their attack, so depending on, cards that their opponent is holding, they may want to, go for an overkill attack in the hopes of overcoming any defensive options they might have. So on and so forth. You'll get more into the strategy and such later, you'll see that through gameplay. But that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. Now, to purchase cards, you'll see that each card has a symbol, or in some cases 2 symbols, in the upper right corner there. A brown circle being a cost in beer resources, and a gold square being a cost in gold resources. Yes, thank you. Now, the fact that there are circles and squares to indicate cost instead just color, I'm assuming is a little nod to the colorblind among us, because just look for circles or squares to know what you're supposed to pay. And then there's the Odin's Path up here. These are cards that will kind of scroll through turn after turn to create a more shifting marketplace, something like, say, Ascension or something like that does. So you've kind of got the fixed market and the rotating market available there. The cards at the bottom here are Divine Favor cards. These will be acquired through special ways, usually gaining points, but there is, another way to get them. Which you may or may not see. Doesn't seem to happen a lot. Yeah. But it's related. It's attacking a maximum level town hall will give you one if there's one available. But in our experience, that doesn't really come up a lot. Anyway, so, anything else?
And then the other cards are end game goals.
Ah, yes. You've got, these are our 4 end game goals. Each one is worth 6 points to the winner. There's a variety that could come out. These are the ones that did for us this time. And we'll also have personal goals, which you'll see more about in the gameplay. And I'm thinking that's probably all you need to know for the player phase. Oh, one other key thing here. When you see symbols like, say, this one here, that means 2 gold resource that expires or goes away at the end of the turn. If you see symbols like, say, the gold brick here, that's a resource that can be stored if you have a storage building with space available. So that's kind of a key difference there. And speaking of storage, phase 4 is the storage phase, wherein you will allocate any permanent resources to storage spaces. Anything you can't store is lost. And then finally you get to the end of round phase where you clean up. You know, this is where you formally discard all the cards you played that turn, and etc., etc. You get rid of the rightmost Odin's Path cards, Scrooge and Flip, and so on.
And Odin's Path refills as you buy things from it.
Yeah. But regardless of whether things are bought or not, the rightmost is going away during the end of round phase. You can't keep leftover cards from round to round unless you have a Drakkar, which will let you store 1 card. And that card, to my understanding, does not count against your hand limit. So a stored card will, kind of raise your hand size. I could be wrong on that, but, that was the best I could come up with from the rule book. So, if you're a stickler for getting everything exactly right, maybe, check for an FAQ or something. It's probably around somewhere. But yeah, so I think that's everything you need to know immediately before you start seeing some gameplay. So, let's... Oh, right. One other little thing. The game ends in a 2-player game, which is what we'll be showing you at 40 points. Big old star right there. And in a 3 or more player game at 30 points. So, our goal is to get to the points and have the most points.
Yeah.
That's kind of important. Anyway, now let's get over to gameplay.